Welcome, residents of the Meister Clan. It's your boy, Six Meister Man, coming at you with a brand new video. And this is part 4 to What If Naruto Restored the Uzumaki Clan. But before we get into it, please take a few seconds of your time to click the like and subscribe buttons. I know y'all think someone else can do it. Trust me, if you do it, you will help the videos greatly, help me improve my content. Um, if y'all can get me to 2K by the end of this year, I'm gonna start editing my videos, getting the quality way up. I'm buying a new mic, buying a new PC, everything just to make sure I can record the optimal videos for y'all. But I'm not gonna do that until I hit 2K. So please get me to 2K because I want to do this for y'all to basically thank y'all for all the support. So first of all, shout out to the Dragon Lord for creating my intro and outro. Go subscribe to him, link in the description. Shout out to myself for creating the thumbnail and this video. So without further ado, let's roll that intro. So, last time we left off with Naruto officially becoming Hokage, and obviously Naruto, as a curious person, him and Jiraiya, first thing they do as he becomes Hokage is delve into the Scroll of Sealing, because Naruto now has authority over it. Naruto and Jiraiya are both jutsu freaks. Jiraiya doesn't show it most of the time, but he does love learning new jutsu. So the first thing they do is start learning. Naruto comes across the flying Raijin and is like, this could be useful for long range transport. Jiraiya says, well, I'm not as fast as you kids, so this could just be useful, period. And they start studying this and some advanced seals contained within the scroll that not even Jiraiya knew about. Even though he's the last known S-class sealing master, he still didn't know some of this stuff because these are mostly things created by Hashirama Senju, Tobirama Senju, and Minato Namikaze. Naruto also learned something about his Rinnegan, which is that he can very quickly learn new elements and somehow revert his eyes because of the Nine Tails, basically healing it to the point where it's his own. So what he actually does is he starts learning some minor earth style jutsu and even some advanced like Great Mud Wall and stuff like that so that he can help recreate a lot of the village because he has more chakra than most shinobi. He he almost instantly unlocks Earth Style because of how easy the Rinnegan makes it, and he starts helping. He creates many box type shapes with Earth Style all across the village, and this obviously hypes the villagers up because Naruto was almost the optimal person to make Hokage at this point. Jiraiya also helps with this a lot, even though he wasn't a master at Earth Style, he still had a way more chakra than anyone in the village except for Naruto. So they basically did a lot and they learned a few jutsu as they needed to regenerate their chakra. In this time, Naruto also met Yamato with his wood style, and he actually asked Yamato to help Sai basically run the foundation because obviously that's something a little hard. Plus, he's probably one of the more capable shinobi within the village. Kakashi was once again made one of the Anbu captains and is actually the co-captain of the entire Anbu forces because at this point Kakashi was renamed as an S-class shinobi because if you did not know, each path of pain was classified as an S-class and Kakashi was able to take out 3 of them. So Kakashi was now reclassed as an S-class shinobi and not only an A rank anymore. So in the bingo books he is now an S-class. And soon after them learning a lot of jutsu, Naruto basically has to go to the 5 Kage Summit. In the original, Danzo had 2 of his members basically join him, but in this one, Naruto's gonna go with Tsunade and Jiraiya. At this point, Shikaku Nara and Shikamaru Nara is appointed as his second in command. Shikamaru because he trusted Shikamaru more, but he knew Shikaku was just as smart or maybe even smarter, even though Shikamaru is actually smarter, but Shikaku isn't exactly as lazy as Shikamaru. So They were put in charge of the village while Naruto was away. As the time progressed of Naruto becoming Hokage, he had slowly adapted more and more of the power within the village itself because he considered both the shinobi side and the civilian side, and the civilians became a lot more comfortable with Naruto, almost as to the point where they were comfortable with Minato. So at this point, there's only one person of the civilian council left. So Naruto has about 80% of the control over the village. So he's more Hokage than anyone else was at this point. So more Hokage than Hiruzen or even Minato was because he has more say over it. But y'all are wondering, what about Sasuke? Well, Sasuke had began assembling Team Taka, but obviously Karin wasn't there. Karin did become friends with Jugo, or she knew him while he was with Kimamaru, and she even knew Soigetsu. She thought he was kind of a douche, but he was a very helpful person. He flirted with her a lot, but he also helped her do some stuff, so she was aight with it. But y'all are wondering, what about Karin? She was actually a staple of Taka. Well, we're just gonna replace her with a rando healing shinobi. At this point, I'ma say, instead of fucking Sasuke being a bitch and just leaving it, I say after Karin left, Orochimaru would have found a suitable replacement. Not someone with a Hinankeke Genkai, but someone with a really high affinity for chakra control and healing ninjutsu. Probably a nature affinity of water or something similar. So he just gets a filler character, which would probably just die after they fight against B. So most of Taka's missions would go similar. You're all probably gonna say this is like a month early for all the arcs. Sasuke, when he found out Naruto was an S class in the bingo book, which he actually was before he even came back to the village, he decided to take Orochimaru out now. So everything progressed a month faster. Sasuke was already a part of the Akatsuki, already killed Itachi. But let's get back to Naruto. Him, Tsunade, and Jiraiya all approach the meeting. It goes similar without Danzo saying some stupid ass shit. The Raikage obviously makes the request to make Sasuke a rogue shinobi, and Naruto said that, um, I know I'm young, I got personal things with Sasuke, but give us a one last chance. Give us 6 months. If we cannot convince Sasuke to come back to the Leaf Village within the next 6 months, we will help you find him and help you kill him. Because Naruto knows that he'd probably be able to find Sasuke with his new sensory ability. So the Raikage is like, he was first at the first he was like, this kid is the son of Minato, so he kind of had like, and then the Raikage basically came up with something. How about a duel? We're not allowed to use any ninjutsu, but we're allowed to use chakra to amp ourselves and things like that. And the one that comes out victorious would basically get the right. And Naruto's like, sounds a little unfair. How about this? You're known as the fastest shinobi alive, except for the Yellow Flash himself. How about a race? The Raikage smirks, thinking that Naruto was stupid to do this. But Naruto flares up his KCM and actually defeats the Raikage, giving them a pass on having to kill Sasuke. The Raikage was angry because he might have a new rival, and actually asked Naruto if they can spar together sometime when they have to come together for a tuning exams or something. And Naruto obviously accepts because this could be like the grand finale of a tuning exams or something like that, just to amp the people up a little bit. So he obviously accepts because he's got someone strong to compete with now. So Toby basically shows Sasuke shows up. They, instead of the Raikage fighting Sasuke, it's actually Naruto. Sasuke cannot keep up. Sure, he has the Amaterasu, he has the Susanoo, but Naruto can move faster than Sasuke could see at this point. Because Sasuke isn't as strong as he was um, in canon, because he left a little early, he was a little weaker, but he would still eventually get stronger. So for now, Naruto was able to beat him. The Tsuchikage almost fired off one of those beams. Toby barely saved him, and Toby basically declared war on the nations. And Naruto obviously tried to shove a Rasengan Shuriken powered by KCM through him, but he literally just phased through it. At this point, Naruto has an idea. He basically pretends to throw basically he pretends to shove a jutsu through Toby, and as Toby rematerializes, Naruto uses his other hand to make a mini Rasengan, smashes it into the mask, shattering the mask, and they all see Toby's face. First one to comment was obviously the Tsuchikage. You're not Madara. Madara had none of those facial features. Toby's like, huh, looks like you caught me out. Well, you can just call me Toby. Prepare for the fourth great ninja war. And he disappears. So, Naruto at this point was conversing with them. They arranged the five or the Great Ninja Alliance at this point. Garo was named the head or the basically the head Kage, which would basically command the entire forces, with the Raikage obviously being the most battle hungry, and Naruto was along with Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Kakashi, because Kakashi is still one of the most skilled shinobi there, were all put in charge of basically a front. Naruto then senses a chakra and basically tells the Raikage that his brother B is still alive because he can sense the Eight Tails chakra right now. The Raikage asks where, and Naruto points. The Raikage, still having both of his arms, powers up to his final cloak and basically dashes towards B is. B is still alive, just like in canon, and the Raikage basically wants to kill him for pretending to be dead. So what happens eventually is the Raikage is convinced by Naruto to let B come with him and let them face off against something like the ghetto statue if it becomes a problem, because I feel that Toby would let something like that slip now that Naruto's there. So we'd have basically them know about the same shit in canon as they did, and Kabuto still approaches Obito with the offer to bring everyone back. We still have that. But this time, Naruto from the start is fighting, and he gets a lot more done until he encounters Madara. He was actually with the other five Kage when they fought off against Madara, and Madara was able to basically defeat Naruto. Orochimaru still appeared, summoned the four other Hokage basically. Um, and Jiraiya and Tsunade were actually there trying to stop Orochimaru, but they found out he was there for the better good. Um, while basically Sasuke and Naruto were still fighting at this point. The Ten Tails was summoned because I believe they took Naruto's half first. Madara then thought that Naruto, or first he fought and the other Kage protected him more or less. So Madara eventually got Naruto's half. Obito became the Ten Tails Jinchuriki. Um, Minato gave Naruto his half, and basically he got it, but too late, so he was in that state of death. Same with Sasuke. So this is the point where we would see the Sage of Six Paths come in a lot earlier than in canon. Naruto had already amped people with the Chakra Cloak, and he doesn't have KCM2 yet, so don't ask about that, because he hasn't thought about amping it to that point yet. Sasuke and Naruto both separately stand this in front of the Sage of Six Paths. Sasuke is basically gifted with the ability Naruto was in the original in the hands, but because Naruto already had the Rinnegan, the Sage of Six Paths saw to it that both Naruto's Rinnegan get amped up to 6 Tomo, but Sasuke did receive a lot of chakra, so he can't use the paths of pain, quote unquote. So he's even though he got a lot stronger, he's still not on Naruto's level. At this point, Naruto was already, or this is the point where Naruto would try and defeat the Ten Tails, or would forcibly be put out of Obito, and that's when he gets amped with the Nine-Tailed Beast Chakra. He goes KCM2, getting the Truth Seeker orbs floating behind him. Obito is then overtaken, quote unquote, by Black Zetsu, and things would more or less go to canon from here. Might Guy would now face against Madara. He'd almost die. Sasuke would get there just in time to basically heal him. I know this is out of order because this is how I'm doing it. I'm switching some stuff around to make it make more sense to where this would basically actually make sense. So Madara basically names uh, Guy the strongest taijutsu fighter ever. Um, After going in and out of Kamui a few times, Naruto talking no jutsuing, Obito being like, I became the Okage, now it's your turn. So Black Zetsu eventually takes Obito's eye, and Madara never needed to take Kakashi's. So Kakashi still has a one Sharingan. But this time Obito was half in between Kamui and half not. The side with the Rinnegan within Kamui along with Black Zetsu. Madara takes actually Obito's eye and puts it in to basically remove Obito from that dimension, taking his other eye. At this point, I'm gonna say Obito falls dead on the ground, so he's not gonna survive. I'm really sorry for those Obito lovers. So what's gonna happen now is Madara basically takes out the Obito eye, just chugs it on the ground, and puts the other one in. At this point, Kakashi has an idea. He saw Sasuke using the Susanoo earlier, so he takes Obito's eye and puts it within himself. After the fight ensues and they eventually face off against Kaguya, and Kakashi was basically getting exhausted, and at one point Sasuke just basically helped Kakashi off of his knees, where Sasuke quote unquote accidentally healed Kakashi to the point where he could deactivate the Sharingan, giving him permanent Sharingan. If you did not know, this was where I'm going with it. So at this point, because of how potent Naruto's healing was to the point where he could save Guy from absolute death, I'd say that the Sharingan will basically bond with Kakashi's genes and his DNA. So this would become almost like Kakashi is an Uchiha. But he is not, because he's never going to have children whatsoever. So I'm going to start off by saying the fight would go fairly similar to canon, with the Naruto throwing around a few more jutsu. So this part was basically ending off the war arc, and next part I'm gonna get into Naruto the Last. I hope y'all enjoyed. This has been your boy Six Meister. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Shout out to the Dragonlord for creating my intro and outro. Roll that outro, it's funny AF.
One, two, three, let's go!
Subscribe for more.
Yada yada does it.